I just realized that you're probably overweight when taking a shower is considered aerobic exercise.
Okay. I used to be afraid of the world outside my door, so I lived within the pages of a book. I used to be so scared of what I couldn't control. It seemed whatever I touched, I broke. The wind at my back, the grass so green, the sun on my face, it was all a dream. Till you said, wake up, wake up, wake up, take my hand. I'm here for you now, I'll help you stand. The world isn't so frightening, it's not all thunder and lightning. And as long as we are together, life can only get better. I used to be embarrassed about my eyes, my nose, my smile, so I hid my face behind my hair. I spent so many years feeling like I was drowning. Now finally I'm coming up for air. Laughing out loud, being part of a team, touching the stars, it was all a dream. Till you said, wake up, wake up, wake up, take my hand. I'm here for you now, I understand. The world isn't so frightening, it's not all thunder and lightning. And as long as we are together, life can only get better. Life can only get better.
Good morning. Good morning. Morning coffee. Or morning peril, whatever. Yeah. I'm your host, Jamie Buckley, who has recently been voted as sexiest man in the United States by my grocer. Anyway, whatever. Good morning. Good morning. It is October 6th at 4 a.m. Yeah. I've had a very, very long weekend. I'm going to explain that to you. This is going to be a personal one this morning. I mean, just you and me. And, yeah, I got some things to share. So let's start with welcome. Welcome. We have some new members of our community. I want to welcome, as kind of a mind blower, actually, yesterday. Was it yesterday or day before yesterday? Anyway, I want to say hello and thanks for signing up to Gonzalez Mendoza. And then I had a shock because I saw this. I mean, I know I'm probably going to pronounce it Jesus, but I mean, don't you feel like your Substack's going really, really well when Jesus signs up to it? Just saying. So, welcome, Jesus. Becerres, I hope I said that right. But welcome, both of you. Okay, first thing I want to make sure that I let you know. Remember, tomorrow night, not tomorrow morning, tomorrow night is the Fiction Cartel. And I'm really excited about this. Lisa Delano got a hold of me, and she's not going to be able to make it. I'm really saddened by that because I love having her there. We all do. But we are going to be able to have Scoot join us. Finally, we've been doing this, almost a year? Pretty close. Somewhere around there. And, boy, we've been wanting Scoot to show up. So we decided to move it to the evening. And so we're going to be doing it at night instead of 7, it's usually 9 a.m. Pacific. We are going to do it at 7 p.m. Pacific. And hopefully we'll have all the seats filled up. I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, so that's tomorrow night. And so 7 Pacific, 8 o'clock Mountain, 9 o'clock Central, and 10 o'clock Eastern. And Scoot's on Eastern. He's like, no, I'm totally in. So I'm looking forward to this. And we're going to be talking about gatekeepers. That'll be interesting. Yeah. So we also did it in the evening because, well, we want to have the room filled. You know, we want you to be able to show up. And most of the time, everybody's at work. You can't show up when you're at work. Maybe you can. Maybe you're doing it in like the break room, you know, hiding in your cubicle or whatever. So that's tomorrow night. I just want to make sure you guys don't forget. And I will leave the artwork, the promo, in the, down below. And please, tell your friends and all that, because it's open to everybody. And let's fill up that room and let's answer questions for you guys. That's why we do the Fiction Cartel. It's just fun. Plus, you get to hear the theme music. Anyway, what a weekend. Oh my gosh. It was so amazing. And it was so terrifying and horrible. I feel so blessed. My van broke. My van absolutely broke. And it was funny because I was talking with my best friend, one of my best buds, Craig. So Craig's part of our community, and he came over. He came over to rescue us. Yeah. Van broke. Completely broke down a city away. And, well, yeah, I got stranded. And it was really horrible because my wife and I went to be... I know you probably read that on Friday, the reason why Chronicles was late is because I needed to go and help my wife. She hurt her back, and so I was her muscle for the day. She was going to be cooking for like 150 people on Saturday. And so I went out and I was, we were doing the grocery shopping. I was doing all the lifting. And on the way home, the van breaks down. And it breaks down in the line, the outside pickup of the pharmacist while we're picking up my weekly shots. It just dies. Right there. That's so embarrassing. I hate when that happens, but whatever. What was more embarrassing is that it was right up against the window and I could not open the door for me to get out to push the van. So my wife, who's got her hurt back, and she's got her notepad with her shopping list, and she had to push the van. I couldn't get out of the van, so she had to push it past the window so that I could open the door. And then I got out and said, "Sweetheart, come around." And then, anyway, I felt so bad, so embarrassed. The owner, the head pharmacist that owns the pharmacy, he comes out, he's like, "Oh my goodness, are you okay?" So he helps me push it and we turn around, we park it there. And anyway, yeah, it just completely died. And had all sorts of funky things happen with the dials and all sorts of, the lights coming up on the dashboard. And anyone who knows me, I don't know diddly about cars. That's not a thing. That's not a thing with me. So, yeah, I didn't know what to do because it's in the morning and everyone's at work. My son's at work. I mean, both my boys all come and help me in a heartbeat, but they're at work. So call my daughter-in-law, tell her, "Hey, Mom and I are stranded." She bursts out laughing. I'm like, "Why are you laughing? This is not, the car is filled with food that we need to get home and, into the fridge. And why are you laughing?" Anyway, I'll be there in a minute. She shows up with my grandkids in the car and they're all, "Hi, Papa." And she's still laughing. So she's trying to give us a jump. And so we get the jumper cables hooked up to the batteries and she's still laughing. I'm like, "Why are you laughing?" And she says, "Just because I'm having a similar day." And it kind of feels good that, that I'm in the same boat with my parents. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so van starts up perfectly. And so she goes off to do her shopping. And I say, "I'll let you know, if we don't make it home." Yeah. So she goes shopping and we made it 2.5 blocks. That's it. And then it died again. Really, really bad. Frustrating. I mean, just everything just turns off. Okay. So I stay on the side of the road. I got to stay with the van. And my wife does the rest of her errands walking through town. Anyway, so by the time my wife gets back and we call my daughter-in-law again, and she comes over, and my wife goes and they drop off my daughter's groceries, and she comes back. We take some of the food, switch it over. So we borrow her van for the next day and a half. And I don't know, when we came back later that afternoon, I ended up dying right in front of a man's house. He was so kind. I felt bad. He was trying to get to work and he couldn't quite back out because I was on the street and blocking. And he's like, oh, you okay? Do you need help? We had so many nice people just stop. Are you stranded? Do you need help? I live like three houses down. I have all the tools. Do you need tools? And I'm like, if I knew what to do with the tools, yeah, that would be awesome. Then another kid drives by and, gauge earring, or what do you call it? Anyway, they gauge things in their ears and tattoos and pierced lip and everything. And just nice as can be. Guy was awesome. He drives by in a truck. It's like, are you okay? You stranded, sir? I'm like, I guess I'm old enough to be sir. Yeah. Anyway, you need help? It's like, oh, that's really kind of you. I says, but it's broken down and I don't know what to do. He says, I just live up the street. He says, I got tools if you need them. Like, everyone keeps offering me tools, but I wouldn't know what to do with them once you gave them to me. And he laughed. And I said, I think we got okay. We called family and they're coming over to help. So, but it felt good and reassuring that all these people that I don't know just volunteering. And I mean, I didn't have hazard lights on or anything. Literally, people stopped, came over, and wondered if I was okay. That's just awesome. I hope you have that too. Anyway, so that was neat. So later on in that afternoon, so going back to the guy that I'm in front of his house, and he says, it's okay. He says, and you know what? He says, don't leave it on the street because you might get a ticket or something. If you need to, he says, if you're going to need to fix on it, fix it later. He says, if you need it, leave it for a few days or whatever. He says, just if you can push it over in front of my truck over there on the side, he goes, no one will bother you. And you can come over and work on your car or whatever. He says, totally fine with me. I was like, what a great guy. What a great guy. So I said, thank you. And he goes off to work. So we come back later on with the van because we had to get the food home. And I was thinking, I'm going to go push it over there. We jump the car. None of the warning lights go on. So I immediately take off. My wife's like, what are you doing on the phone? I'm like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try to get it home because we're like maybe 3.5 miles away. That didn't seem very far. Anyway, so I'm like, at a stop sign, slight tap on pedal, and I'm just like tapping it and going through. I'm just not stopping. And we come up to the four-way stop, a major four-way stop. I'm like, oh no, because if I take my foot off the accelerator, it'll die. So I try to do the dual foot thing. I put my left foot on the brake and put it into neutral, revved it. And luckily, this busy intersection, there was one person, and I rolled right up right when it was my turn, and I go right through. I was like, well, that was awesome. That was good timing. Thank you, Heavenly Father. This is working. And we come around the corner, and I go up over the hill, and where we live with the farm, you come up over a hill and you go down. You got to go across railroad tracks, and just as I come up to the top of the hill, it dies. So I'm rolling down the hill, and I'm just in neutral, and I go down, I go around, I go across, and I go on the long road towards the neighborhood, and slowly pull over to the side of the road. We do another jump. It starts. I get it just into my driveway, dies, won't start again. Okay, so Craig comes over that night. He does a whole bunch of tests. He's a mechanic. Him and his buddies, if I understand correctly, Craig, didn't you say that you and your buddies used to like build a hot rod car from scratch in like 72 hours and then like go cruise Main Street, something like that? Anyway, he's phenomenal. He talks car. He's got a YouTube channel. Ooh. Yeah, that he does classic cars, cool cars. I will put a link. I'll put a link down below. If you like cars, I'm fascinated. I just don't know how to work on them. My buddy's got this really cool YouTube channel. It's really neat. He does a lot of shorts, but you want to see classic cars, muscle cars, things like that. He goes to car shows. It's awesome. Anyway, I'll put something down below. But he goes and he what do you call it? Trigger? No, I don't know what the phrase is. He figures out what's wrong. He goes and eliminates the things, of what could possibly go wrong. And he kept telling me, he said, this might be a good thing. This might be a blessing. I'm like, I have one vehicle. We have a lot of responsibilities. And we also take a lot of our kids and our grandkids to the hospital during the week. And I don't have a vehicle now. And I'm not sure what to do. And he says, you know what, though, my experience has been, it's usually a blessing. It's a hidden blessing from God. I'm like, how would you think so? He says, well, the last few times that I've had it, that my car's broken down, it's kind of like God saying, Craig, son, you twit, you're not looking at the right problem. And I'm trying to prevent you from having an accident or destroying the car that you have. And so he has found, things like, like what happened with us. Turns out that when he checked the fluids, and I'm only halfway through an oil change, it's still at like between 40 and 60% good before I have to have another oil change. When he checked the oil on the dipstick at the very end, it barely, not even a drop, it barely touched the end of the dipstick going in. So there was we were down over 3 quarts of oil. He says, if you would have kept driving this, which I would have done because I didn't know it was leaking so much so fast, I would have burned out the engine, seized up the engine. I would have lost the fan. It couldn't have been fixed. So, yeah. So it's sitting in the driveway. I still don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. Anyway, so that was an interesting weekend. The cool thing was that before that happened, we were able to take one of our daughters on a birthday date because it was her birthday. And she's wanted for like 3 years now. She's married. She has kids. And yet my kids like hanging out with me and Kathy for their birthday. We like doing things with the kids. We go out on a date with mom and dad. We go do something fun. Usually food. Usually go for their favorite foods. So for the last 3 years, she's wanted to go to sushi. Yeah, I'm always up to taking the kids to sushi because I like sushi. So, yeah, we did. We went to my favorite restaurant, and it's like an all-you-can-eat, and there's like 200 different dishes. It's insane. And I've been going there since like 2007. I used to have an office like down the street. It's way north from here. It takes about an hour to drive there. And it was awesome. So, got to just listen to my daughter and talk and visit, and don't get to see her too often. And that was fun. I just enjoy her company and my wife's company, and what a lovely evening. Yeah, talked, laughed, took some pictures, tried to catch my wife when she was eating. No, that didn't work out well. Yeah. Anyway, but that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. So I feel blessed. We were able to do that. We were able to get the food for the community lunch. And then my wife was able to borrow our daughter's van and do that. And then Sunday, by Saturday night, I was horrifically sick, and so were a lot of the kids. I think it's a change in seasons, but I couldn't figure out what was going on with my lungs, so I spent the weekend sleeping and on oxygen. I think I slept like an extra 12 hours. It was crazy. Yeah. Wonderful weather, though. Rain. Yeah, it's beautiful. Got to go down and spend time with the chickens on Sunday. I was trying to work some things out. I love chickens. I love birds. Am I totally going off on tangents? Probably. I just feel, I'm happy. I feel content this morning. I like feeling that way. I feel peaceful. I know a lot of crazy stuff's going on out in the world. Okay, so first of all, I love you. I think you're awesome. I love this community. I love telling stories. And I'm really excited about where this is going because, well, first of all, I have exciting things that writing with Chronicles and with Wendell, and I love writing about Wendell so much. And I have these fun little projects that I've been working on little bit by little bit for the last 7 months. And because remember, I'm taking off December, the whole month. Well, but I don't want to just disappear and do what I did last year and not do anything, not publish things. I mean, I publish like one thing a week, something like that. No. I want to fill December this time, and I have a plan. No, I'm not going to tell you what the plan is. Don't ask me that. That's rude. It's a surprise. It's Christmas. It's presents. Get with the program. Anyway, so I'm excited. I'm totally excited about this. So, 2 things I wanted to share. 2 fun stories. I'll let you go. I know you got to start your week, but okay, 2 things. One, a story that my daughter was telling me about my granddaughter, Truly. I love Truly. She's so adorable. I just love her to pieces. And yeah, she finally has a thing for Grandpa. I was eating cold cereal, and she was over last night. And she's on the couch. She's sitting next to me. She just comes up and she's 3. She's so little and she's 3. But she comes in now. I look at her. I smile. I hold out my arms. And she runs right up to me and she just wants to hug me and snuggle. Anyway, so she's sitting next to me. I'm eating cold cereal. And I look down at her and I smile at her. She smiles at me and then she goes. I'm like, oh, okay. So I give her a spoonful of my cereal. My wife and my daughter just laughing, and I take a couple bites. I look down at her, and she's sitting there again with her mouth open. So I shared cereal with her, and finally, I got her own bowl of cereal. And she's so little, she finished the whole thing. Then she comes up to me and asks for a second bowl of cereal. Like, okay. Anyway, during lunch, my daughter was telling me a story about Truly. So apparently Truly, I don't know how it happened, but she broke this porcelain, this little figurine that my daughter really loves. And Truly, concerned about it, and she comes up and brings the porcelain doll, and it's broken one of the arms. And she says, Mom, I broke this. She goes, I'm so sorry. And my daughter, expresses her sadness, and Truly looks at her and she says, she says, do you want me to buy a new one? Or do you want to get glue and I'll fix it? And she says, and Truly says, which one costs less pennies? So my daughter says, that would probably be glue. She goes, okay, let's do that. So they go to the store, they get some glue, they come home, and Truly is completely set on fixing this herself. So my daughter lets her. When she brings the porcelain doll back, the arm's on backwards, is pointing the wrong way, and it's now glued. And she goes, here you go, Mom. And my daughter just looks at it, and she says, and Truly looks at it, she says, oh, do you not like it? She says, well, I can buy you a new one. Don't worry, Mom. It's just stuff. I love that. I absolutely love that. So my daughter, pleased that her daughter, my granddaughter, tried to fix this. It's now sitting on the shelf. So this little figurine with an arm sticking in the opposite direction. Kids are so awesome. The other thing that was fun is that on Saturday, I told you that Simon's dating. Yeah, he's been watching these, so he knows I'm going to tell you this. Again, not telling you the girl's name, not your business. However, she came over to the house. She spent the evening with us. Of course, I was gone most of the time working on the car and picking up stuff with Craig. However, she came over, and she came over to watch a movie with the whole family. So we're all sitting there in the front room. So she comes in, she sits down, And I heard something that she had not seen certain movies. And I went, in our household, there's things you gotta see. You just gotta see certain stuff. So she comes in and she sits down. I look at her and I look at Simon. And I look at my other kids that are all around them. And I said, so, is it time to get out the notepad and pen? And she looks at me like this. I said, so, I hear that you need to have a movie education. And she goes, oh. And I said, so, we're gonna ask you questions, and you get to answer whether or not you've seen these movies. I was not prepared for the long list. She's not seen Harry Potter. She's not seen Lord of the Rings. She's not seen The Hobbit. She's not seen Star Wars. She's not seen Rocky. I'm like, okay. For goodness sakes, she's not seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Okay. So we made a list. A long list. By the time we were done, and we just had to stop. 22 movies. Some of them are series, so there's far more than 22 movies on that list. But they decided to watch that movie Wicked, and which is fun, which is a lot of fun. She wasn't sure what she thought. She did enjoy it, but she didn't have much to say about it. She's not a talker. That'll change. We have that effect on people. Okay, so remember tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific, and then go towards the east. We are going to do the Fiction Cartel. So show up. We're going to have fun. Let's fill the room. Ask questions. I have turned the mics off, by the way, the room settings. So you won't be able to come in and start making noise. You can come in and type your questions into the chat, and we will answer them. But you can come and be with us. Your camera works. You can come, and you can come either with a live camera, or you can come and just watch and just use an avatar. That's fine too. But come live. That'll be fun. We're going to be talking about gatekeepers. Yeah. That'll be fun. Anything else? Not that I can think of. I'm probably going to remember in about 5 minutes when I turn this off and I start doing the editing. But I'm excited about the future. Really excited about the future of storytelling. I think there is a bright, wonderful future. And I think that because a lot of the platforms are, I think, hell-bent on screwing writers over. Substack is not. You can think what you want about, politics and their motivations behind things, but still, to this day, Substack is still the best platform out there that supports you as a creative. Yeah, I love being here. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I can do this with you and for you. So, you are awesome. You are more than you think you are. You are. You know it. I know it. Your mom knows it. She counts, Yeah. And I'm your biggest fan after your mom. So, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time.